let's try to recall the previous days. What topics did we cover? What methods were interesting for you? I will try to quickly remind about each day. So the first day we mostly did the introduction of Aflatun program, of the training, of the platform. We got to know each other. The second day we dedicated fully to the to active learning methods, and that would be interesting to see which methods you found interesting. Yesterday we covered the topics of savings and gender equity in the classroom, and I see a couple of comments here. So Rosetta says that she liked all the active learning methods. Blanca, KWL chart, which I like for many reasons. Ruta says KWL chart again was very interesting. Image theater, Blanca mentions also a great way to speak about sensitive subjects, for example, even if it's time intensive, if it's time intensive. Time limitation for this method. Silva mentions active learning methods KWL chart, and boys and girls in the classroom shall be equal. Take a stand as well, Ruta mentions. You can also post in Russian. We will quickly translate your answers. What with your feet gets kids moving at the same time?
I want to say that yesterday I liked take a stand method a lot, because this method helps children to think critically and express themselves clearly. Also, this method develops communicating skills, and children think visibly. Children can think, analyze, listen to one another. This method forces to think, and I liked this method very much. And also it was interesting for me to speak about gender equity yesterday, because sometimes we give different tasks for boys, for girls, and sometimes we expect boys, for example, to be strong and girls to be, for example, pretty, and we expect, for example, sometimes boys, when they grow up, be engineers, politicians, scientists, policemen, for example. And if a girl, we think that she has to be a teacher or a nurse. And it forced me to think that sometimes really that exists. We think about women as a weak, physically weak, sometimes emotionally weak, and so on. And it was very interesting to talk and to make me think about it after our session. When I went to sleep, I thought about it, and it was interesting, and I thank you a lot for that.
Thank you for sharing, Oksana. I'm so glad that this stayed with you, the topic and the discussion and the reflection is ongoing. Thank you very much. That's one of the purposes of having such sessions, so that we have this space for self-reflection. So now I would like to ask if anyone wants to offer an energizer. Yes, Rosetta.
Okay, hello everybody. Since I promised the day, I said I should keep my promise. I will try one game or energizer that we've been using during our in-person training. So I don't know how well it's going to work through online training, but let's see, let us try.
Yeah, this can be the pilot for you.
Yeah. So each of us is going to take one piece of paper like this. Do you have a piece of paper? Everybody? So like Luan said yesterday, it's good to have our cameras in the gallery mode so that we can see each other at the same time. So everybody has got the paper. We show it to the camera. We don't do anything. Now, what we will do is that all of you will close your eyes. Are you ready? Close your eyes. Yes. And now we will start. You will do what I tell you to do. The first thing is you fold your piece of paper in half. Then you simply tear off the top right corner. Tear off the top right corner. Then fold it in half again. Now you tear off the top left corner. Now we fold it one more time in half and we tear off the top right corner. Okay. And now all of you have to have the same thing that I have. Let's see. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. Can you show the piece of paper? So, do you have all?
Yes, we all have. We have all the same.
Yes, but do we have like the same thing? The same thing?
No, I don't.
Medea, can you show your paper to us?
Oh, I was too creative with following instructions, huh?
So what happened? Why is that? So Blanca has got 2 holes, right? And Natalia has got a hole, but the rest is not the same, yes? So why do you think it happened?
Everyone has personal vision and in mind. How to say.
I
Yes.
believe that the instruction is heard differently. I never put like in half like this. I always fold it this way.
Always this way.
It's how we hear the instruction.
So even though it's the same instruction for all, we hear them differently, yes? We hear
Yes.
them differently. Yeah? Any other opinions?
Seeing the role model is important. And Blanca, I think you got my hole.
Somebody has taken it.
Probably
I got both
that
of them.
in different countries means something else. In one country, that is right, and maybe that is the reason.
The other way.
Most of our attention was on our closed eyes.
So the conditions we were working on, yeah? Anything else? Were the instructions clear?
Nur Sultan also has a difference.
Yes.
He has 2 columns and no hole in the center. So.
Somebody has taken the hole, yeah? Oh.
Okay, thank you very much, Rosetta.
Thank you all.
Thank you. This was a great way to start.
So it helps us understand how diverse we are, how we take instructions, but also none of you asked questions. Like, how should we fold the paper, or do we have to do this or that? So this happens usually in our work or in the classrooms. Children don't ask questions for several reasons, and then you deepen the gap between the understanding or the messages we get. So in the organizations we work, and thank you, everybody.
Yes, very useful. And also, I think another question that will stay with us after the training. Thank you again for stepping up and for taking this risk of online energizer. I think it worked perfectly in the online setting. Okay, today we are going to cover more active learning methods. But before that, I would like to ask about the homework, the quiz. Did you have a chance to look at it? Did you fill it in? And then if you have questions, you are welcome to ask. I hope you also viewed the results, right? In the end, you saw right and correct answers. Okay, let's do this. If you have questions, you just unmute yourself and ask if anything was unclear, or if you couldn't access the quiz or anything, for any reason you couldn't do the quiz, just let us know. Otherwise, I assume everything was okay with the quiz and you managed to complete it. All right. Okay, then let's go to the first method that we are going to practice today, which is called memory cards. Who had a chance before to work with this method, or who is familiar with the method? Have you heard of this memory cards in other settings as well? Yes, Silva?
I'm working with some children with what we call alternative communication cards. I'm not sure whether this is the same or not.
We will see. I think there are a lot of card games used in teaching process. This one is mostly about memorizing some facts or information that we want children to learn easily.
So probably I'm familiar.
Yes, okay.
Because the work we do is for the children to memorize or to know on the board what is going to happen today and what we are going to do now, then in 10 minutes or 15 minutes.
Yes, that sounds
for special needs children.
That sounds pretty similar to memory cards. Okay, anyone else who has an experience using this method? Blanca said yes. Okay, let's watch a very short video about the memory cards, how this method works, and then we will practice the method. This is again another common method within Aflatun because it's a very easy way to pass on new information, and also at the same time to keep kids actively involved in that process. So this helps us to promote the children-centered learning process, because we are not the ones who give them the information, and they are not the ones who are passively appropriating the information, but they are actively engaged in the process of learning. Okay, let's watch the video first.
This exercise helps children memorize content through playing a simple card game that is cheap and easy to make. The game also helps players to improve their powers of concentration. In the first example, we'll look at a set of cards that teachers and children can use to help them learn the concept of rights and responsibilities. To start, you'll need to make a set of cards made up of pairs. Next, you'll need a group of 4 or 5 students to play the game. If there's space, ask the students to kneel in a circle on the floor and spread the cards out face down on the ground. Or, if you're working in a crowded classroom, push some desks together and have children sit around them, again with the cards spread out face down on the tabletop. The first player turns over a card without moving it.
You have the right to a free education until the age of 14.
Now the same player turns over a second card without moving it.
You have a duty not to waste water.
If the 2 cards don't make a pair, The player turns them back over, remembering to leave them exactly where they were. The game starts again. The next player tries. She turns over a card without moving it. She reads the card out loud.
You have the right to a free education till the age of 14.
Now the same player turns over a second card without moving it.
You have a duty to try your hardest at school.
If the cards match, the player has won. If you make a pair, you get another go. The game continues until all the pairs have been matched up. The player with the most cards is the winner. Either you or your students can quickly make a set of cards for this game. All you need is a sheet of paper, a ruler and a pen or pencil, and a pair of scissors. Now divide the paper into 2 columns and 6 rows. Next, fill in the column on the left and the column on the right to make a set of 6 pairs for any subject. Here's an example for a geography lesson. Imagine you're teaching a geography class on rivers. You must write the name of the rivers in the left-hand column and the length in the right-hand column. Then cut them up and shuffle them. Remember, you can create memory cards for any subject.
Okay, now when we watch the video, did you find this familiar to you? Did you know about this method or have? So as the video shows, this is really easy to prepare, and it doesn't take much time or resources, but it can be very very helpful in terms of in terms of presenting the revisiting previous information that we learned, but also presenting a new one. And we are going to play together now the online version, but you saw how in-person setting would work. So you need to have the physical cards, and you need to arrange the classroom in a way that it's possible to play with the whole group, or you cannot even divide into 2 groups if you can follow the process of the 2 groups. And can you please quickly remind me what were the rules? How shall we go with the game? How do we? What were the same the main rules that we should follow? Who memorized from the video?
I can give it a go.
Yes, please.
I think one of the rules is that you don't remove, that you keep the cards in the same place. That the kids read the cards out loud to everyone each time it's turned over, so the information is repeated.
Thank you. So you don't move the cards, you read out loud the card. What else should we keep in mind?
I believe children shall be in a group and probably to see the cards.
Yes, it should be in a way that everyone sees the card.
It's visible.
Thank you. What else? How do we continue after one person? Like if someone played already, how do we continue with the game?
If they don't find the right card, then they have to leave it back again and then start it from the very beginning, so they can't continue. Otherwise, if they find it, then
if they find the right pair, they keep going.
Another turn.
Yes, and if they don't find a matching pair, then they pass on to the other player. All right, so those are the main rules that we should remember when organizing the game, and let's do it ourselves. So on the platform, under this topic, you will find materials based on which you can create memory cards. One is about startup resources, and another one is about budget. And I already used the budget, the topic of budget, and created these memory cards to play during this session now. So this is our board, and I will just probably ask someone to start. you should tell me two numbers and I will open them. You should read aloud, and if they match, they will stay open. If they don't, they will close. But before that, you tell us if they match or not. Ruta, would you like to start?
2 and 10.
And please, whenever I open a card, try to read aloud. Can you see it well?
Budget surplus. Of the money that a business will receive from the product itself.
Okay, so it turned around. So it seems that they were not a match. Let's continue. Medea?
Number 5. When you spend less money, then you get as profit.
Earned as a profit, yes. And another number?
10.
Yes, this was the same. Keep in mind the cards stay in the same place, so try to memorize. So they were not matching. Who would you offer to continue, Medea? You can nominate someone.
Maybe Natalia.
Number 4. Budget deficit. And number 9. All the things you need to pay for to run a business. No, they don't match.
So as you figured out, so those are like in some cards you have the concepts, and on other cards you have their description, and you should see if they match or not. Natalia, who do you pass on?
Oksana?
1 and 7.
1.
Budget. A plan for spending and saving money responsibly. Not, they don't match. This
don't they? So a plan for spending and saving money responsibly.
They don't match.
Match me. What is budget? Budget, this is money. A plan for spending and saving. This matches.
I think it's correct.
It's correct.
Yes. But do you have a question regarding this pair?
I said budget a sum of money, but the word plan.
Yeah. So yes, I get your point. The budget can be understood as money,
but not as
amount of money.
After reading and understanding the definition of this word, I understand that it's right. It's correct.
Yes. In terms of Aflatun, kids learn about budgeting and planning, and so here budget is understood as a plan for spending and saving. Thank you. So you can go on because you already have one correct pair.
4 and 12.
4.
Oh, budget deficit 9. It was maybe the answer was card number 9.
Okay, I will open 9. All the things you need to pay for, to run a business, I think. So they were not matching. Thank you, Oksana. Who do you pass on?
Rosetta.
Thank you, Oksana. I would say 4 and 12.
We can open 4 first, and then you see. Okay, budget deficit, and next 12.
Okay, I'm gonna say 12. Oh no.
Yes, you can first open one card and then decide about the second one.
And then also think of what we've seen previously. Yeah.
Yes.
Ruta, has Ruta played or not?
Yes, she did.
Okay, Blanca.
I'm gonna go with 2.
Mm-hmm.
Budget surplus and 5, I think.
Oh, this is budget deficit when you spend less money.
Yeah, when you
in my
spend
head be
less
correct.
money, then you earned as profit. So they match, right?
They do match. Thank you for whoever opened them before.
So
I get another go. Let's try 11.
11.
When you spend more money than you earned as a profit. Did we see that already? Darn. Try 10.
10?
10, yeah. I can't remember. Oh, bummer. Never mind.
Thank you, Blanca.
And then maybe I pass on to Mariam. I don't think you have gone yet, have you?
No, she hasn't.
Mariam.
Thank you. Mariam?
Number 4. I think 9.
9.
No.
All the things you need to pay to run a business.
No.
Sorry. Come again next time. What do you pass on? Mariam, name someone to continue. Okay, I will. I don't see and I don't hear Mariam right now.
Yes, I don't see everybody. So please.
Maybe Melissa can go next.
Sure. I think it's 4 and 11.
Budget deficit and when you spend more money than you earned as profit. Correct, right?
Yeah.
Yay. You can open one more pair.
One more and 12.
12. Capital.
I didn't see that. It was 9, maybe.
All the things you need to pay to run a business. No.
So I'll pass to Kamala.
Thank you.
Thank you. Maybe 8.
8. Costs.
Maybe 9. I need this. I think that it's
all the things you need to pay for to run a business. Yeah. Yes, you got it. You can open one more pair.
Okay. 6.
6.
The money is the store top business.
Don't forget to read aloud for the group as well.
Maybe 10.
No. No, they're not matching. So who do you pass on?
Pass to maybe Jamila.
Jamila.
Yes.
Jamila, you can also use the chat.
Okay.
Yeah, we will play with Jamila. She can just post on the chat one number and then the other one. We will follow the instructions. Thank you, Kamala. And I guess because it will take a bit because Jamila is
3 and 12. Lily.
3. Wait. So revenue and 12.
Yes, and 12. Yeah.
capital. Yeah, I would suggest to read the first card first and then open the second one, so you can find a better match. Thank you, Jamila. Can you offer someone?
Oksana.
12 and 10.
Who was that? Sorry.
It was Oksana. Go ahead.
Okay.
12.
12, capital.
10 and 10.
The money that a business will receive from the products it sells. No. So who would like to go next? I would say, I think Jada didn't go yet, right?
6.
Right, let's go with 10 to 11.
Sorry again, Jada?
Let's see 6.
6.
The money used to start up a business or to keep it running, and 12.
12.
Yeah.
Do they match?
Match.
I think so.
Yes. Yes. So you can open the last pair.
Yeah, this is the winning of all the team. Thanks for the last step. Revenue is the money. Yeah, we can open 10. The money that a business will receive from the products itself.
So we have all the pairs opened. Thank you for playing. I will stop stop sharing. How did you find this method, and what do you think for what topics you can use it in a Aflatun setting? Whoever likes to. Medea, I see you unmuted yourself. Do you want to?
Я считаю, что можно использовать по правам детей, когда такие игры проводим занятия. Мы это проводили, вот тому я кивала головой, ну, что метод знаком. Во-первых, детей можно заставить читать, вовлечь в игру всех одинаково. Ну, очень удобный метод, чтобы они были в теме, я считаю. Вот как мы сейчас его применили в теме знакомстве с темой деньги, там, да, бюджет, тоже очень удобно, я думаю.
Спасибо.
I can, shortly. She thinks that it's nice to use it for the topic of children rights because you let the children actually read what's on the cards. You let them participate. It's not a passive game. It's a very active game. And to get them interested in the topic as well. And it's a good way also to introduce something new, like we did ourselves right now with the money and with the budgeting and so on.
Thank you. And I see a couple of posts on the chat. Jamila said before that they use this method and they call it find a pair. Yes, I'm pretty sure that you have different names of this for this method and you use it in different formats as well. And Natalia mentioned that we can use it for any topic. It's perfect method for children aged 3 to 7. In that case, probably we can also use the cards with pictures when they can't read. I agree with Nur Sultan, so we can adjust this for a younger age as well. So Jamila says that it also promotes logical thinking, very helpful with definitions, and especially interesting with things kids would need to memorize, Blanca mentioned. So yes, I'm glad you find this method helpful, and so this was a refreshment for you. And in Aflatun program, whenever you feel like one topic is not easy for the kids, you can always make it more gamified, make it more playful to learn about that. And I see Melissa's comment as well. I find very useful these methods. It's interactive and fun. Gamification is very important, not only kids, for young and adults training as well. And Jada, we can use it for currency and the peaks of monies from different countries and talk about different cultures. So very interesting approach. And this method can be used with children in different topics, more productive and interactive for children. Kamala posted. Thank you very much for all the comments, but also feel free to unmute yourself and express verbally your comments as well, so we don't forget your voices. Okay, so this was one of the methods, active learning methods that you will find on the platform, and you will find more materials on facilitating a session on memory cards. Please look at the platform afterwards. Next, we are going to practice another method, which is called tree poem. I think this one is not very popular, at least from what I know, but it's also it's very nice method because it promotes creativity, and it gives children more freedom. I will quickly introduce the method first, and then we will go on and practice. First, tell me if you have heard of this method or you used it before on slideshow mode. Can you see it?
Yes.
So tree poem is, as I mentioned, promotes creative thinking, and it's best, for example, to use for reflect activities. You know that Aflatun lessons are constructed in a way that they always have these three components: the kickoff of the session, the main activity of the session, and the reflection part. And we always have this reflection component. So for this component, we always have different activities, and one of them can be tree poem. This is a free creative expression exercise. We are not seeking a correct answer, and we are encouraging students to try and use their own words to summarize the day, to summarize the topic, and take what they took with themselves. Those are basic rules to keep in mind when implementing this method. And let's see how it works. So the facilitator gives the participants one word. The first word is suggested by the facilitator. We will see an example in a bit. Let's see, what are the other components? And after that one word, the facilitator says that they should continue with two important features of that word that they gave. So it can be a noun. The first word, to make it easier for the kids, can be a noun, because they should continue with two adjectives. And then the next line, the third line of the poem, should be three words for actions or motions. So those should be verbs regarding the first word that was suggested in the beginning. And the fourth line of the poem should be 4-word long sentence or expression, anything again regarding the first word. And the last line is again 1-word long summary, which can be synonym or metaphor or image. So anything about the first word, which will summarize the rest of the poem. So basically, they are given, the participants are given the first word, And then they are encouraged to continue to develop a poem following these rules, 5 lines poem. This is very simple, and it's kept simple to encourage students to feel free to create. So they don't think that because they don't write, they never practice creative writing, they can't do this. And that's why this is a very simple way to do it. Let's see an example. For example, let's say our word is banana. So how would the poem about banana look like? Our second line consisting of 2 adjectives, yellow, tasty. Third line, 3 verbs about banana, changes, feeds, enjoys. Fourth line, 4 for €1. And the summarizing line is fruit. So this is a poem about banana. I want to see if you have questions so far about this method before we go on and try to write our own poems. Do you have any questions?
What was the 4th line about? I forgot.
The first line is one word. Fourth, sorry. 4th line was can be about anything, but again, it should relate to the first word, and it should consist of 4 words. I will go back to that slide once again.
I understand.
Thank you. Any other questions? If everything is clear, please grab a paper and pen and let's practice. I will go back to the presentation. So let's start with an easy example. Let's write a poem about Zoom, a 3 poem about Zoom. So your first word is Zoom. And I will go back to the structure here. So you can see which line is what. Here you can see all the lines together. Let's take 5 minutes and afterwards we will continue. I hope you managed to write down something. Let's see who would like to share. If you would like to read your poems. Oksana.
Zoom, widespread, useful, to communicate, to see and understand. Impossible to live without. Connection.
Can you please repeat the first sentence?
The first line, the first word, Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Second line, 2 adjectives, widespread, useful.
Okay.
Widespread and useful. The third line, 3 verbs, to communicate, to see, to understand. Mm-hmm. The 4th line, impossible to live without, 4 words. And the last word as a summary, connection.
Yeah, perfect. Thank you. Thank you very much, Oksana. So was it useful for you to use this method and to just think about one wide concept?
It was interesting. It was interesting. I tried to think what Zoom is and what is for, how do we use it?
Mm-hmm.
It made me think.
Thank you. We would like to continue. Ruta?
So Zoom, interesting, visible, connect, show, hear, good for all world, and the last one, media.
Thank you, Ruta.
It's very useful for me because I'm a teacher of journalism.
Yes, that's why you see it as a media tool. Thank you. Who else would like to share? I see there. Yes, Rosetta.
I can share. Actually, I would like to rhyme it, but it was not possible. It was not possible probably for these minutes. Okay, Zoom, helpful, modern, helps, connects, links, important means of communication, platform.
Mm-hmm. Yes, but it was still smooth, even if there was no rhythm. Thank you, Rosetta. Did you all figure out why it's called tree poem, by the way?
Because it branches out.
Sorry, Blanca, again?
It branches out, right?
Yeah, yeah. And it's more like a Christmas tree, I would say.
I think we should rename it a Christmas tree poem.
What is the name?
I agree, we should rename it to a Christmas tree poem rather than a tree poem.
More fun. I see some posts on the chat. Melissa posted budgeting. Oh, I think Melissa wrote on budgeting, not on about Zoom, right, Melissa? If I got it correctly. Mm-hmm. Financial plan, saving, spending, investing. Budgeting helps money management. Financial literacy, or yeah, fifth is a bit tricky. Yes, it is, but that's where you are challenged to find solutions. Only one thing, I know it's really tricky to remember all these orders. The second line should be 2 adjectives, and then the third line should be 3 verbs, and the fourth line, yeah, anything. So I think this might be sometimes confusing. And Blanca's poem, Zoom, speak and see, brings us together when we cannot be. Oh, that chat is running up. Teleconferencing. Interesting. And I think Blanca also managed to find the rhythm. Okay. So Nur Sultan's poem, payment, public obligatory, helps support guides, 4% of income money, and fifth, yeah, I saw Blanca says not following rules. And fifth is missing from Nur Sultan's. Yeah, Kamala, useful, communicate, available, connect, communicate, online speak, Microsoft Teams. Okay, and yeah, I see some more comments, but I would suggest to continue on and to try this on another word as well, and conclude this method. Yes, to respond to that, also how much we should stick to the rules, and where I would say, because this is a creative writing method, it's of course it's fine if kids don't follow the rules at some point, but what is important is to keep them focused on the topic. And if you have a specific topic to reflect on, to summarize, so I would say to keep focus on that. Let's go to the next example and write another poem. Okay, the next word will be Aflatun. I see one chat post. Kamala posted her poem, Aflatun interactive, managers to earn, to spend, to teach, money box, useful knowledge. Thank you, Kamala. Who would like to share their poems? Rosetta?
Aflatun, non-governmental, international. supports, connects, develops deeply rooted foundations, organization.
Thank you. Sounds very professional. Who else would like to go? Jada.
Aflatun International NGO, change, educate, empower, socially, economically empowered children, equitable.
Thank you. I see you found a lot of relevant adjectives and action words. I will go to chat now. I see Nur Sultan is writing about firemen. And then we have Natalia's comment, Aflatun, new and exciting, educates, promotes, equips, accessible to every child, education. Thank you, Natalia. So this is Nur Sultan's comment, take care, guides, teach. Who else would like to read their poem?
Can do.
Yes, Oksana.
Aflatun, exciting, helpful, to take part, teach and study is interesting for us. Program.
Thank you. So I guess the method was pretty clear, right? How it can be implemented and what can be the outcome of it. Now let's summarize. I will share my screen again and jump through all the slides. And let's reflect on a couple of questions. What are the advantages of this method? Can you name several advantages of this method? Why should we use this method as trainers or teachers? You can unmute yourself and jump in.
I think it's a really good way to have kids use their own words to share what they learned. So it's putting it in there rather than repeating, information they've been given, but they have to formulate the learning in their own words.
And it really encourages creativity.
Yes. What else you find?
I believe it's a brainstorming on a topic.
Yes, another way of brainstorming, more structured and more creative. Thank you, Silva. Anyone else?
Children can think about the topic and brainstorm.
Sorry, Mariam, I missed the beginning.
Children can think about the topic.
Yes. So as you mentioned, it's a good way to promote the thinking process, also creative thinking, and to encourage them to summarize the topic or the day with their own words.
And then, of course, it is really related to the language, your own language, to find the correct words, for objective, for noun. It's really work on the language, which is very important.
Yes, yeah, that can have that side effect as well.
I just have the same comments with Silva. Thank you.
Thanks, Jada. So another question, let's think about, are there challenges in using this method? And if so, what can be those challenges? Can you think of any possible challenge?
It takes a while to get comfortable with the method, I think. Like I have personally struggled sometimes using it because it takes a while for people to get it and to get into it. So it can be time consuming in that sense. Because the instructions are a little sort of rigid, but when you let people go, just get creative, it's fine. Like you said, it doesn't really matter if they follow exactly. If they have a short poem that hits the points of the main learning, then it's okay. But it does take a little bit. At least in my experience, it has been sometimes challenging as a, for time.
Yes. Any other challenges that you can think of?
I was thinking, like if I work with little kids, I would not use this as an individual, activity. My question is as the group activity.
Yeah, so they should create as a group the poem.
Yeah, my question would be if this is an individual work first, so then it could be harder depending on the age or the special needs to work on a very good activity as a group. So this could be a challenge for the kids, it would be hard to do individually, but so then it's time consuming and everything comes. So
yeah, I would suggest the others to reflect on that if they see this method to be used as a group activity, right? That was your
yes, because it could be a challenge to work individually for some of the kids.
And why do you think it can be challenging? As an individual work.
It's because I am from the special needs, intellectual difficulties area, more like Down syndrome kids. I really like this activity, but taking into account the intellectual development, ability to express, could be a challenge to do individual for a single person.
Yeah, I agree, of course. Depending on the characteristics or needs of your participants, some methods you might need adjustment, and I don't see any hands, but if anyone would like to contribute on this question that Silva raised, you're welcome.
Also, you have a comment, Lilith, in the chat.
Yes. Okay, I will go through the comments because I think they also somehow address the challenges of this method. For example, Melissa says that it might be a struggle to find words and definitions, and maybe this activity can be added late session in the training, so they have the terms, so they are in a state that they can find these definitions, words. And Blanca says perhaps better for slightly older children who are comfortable with instructions based on grammar terms. Yes, definitely. If you are going to use, for example, such terms as adjective or verbs, they should know what these terms mean. And coming back to Silva's concerns, what comes to my mind as an adjustment, maybe if we have students who would find it difficult to express their ideas in words, maybe we can use also drawing method and ask them to draw as part of reflection, how they would draw today's session or the topic or anything that we discussed.
May I add something a little later?
Yes, sure.
Yeah. Regarding this topic, so when you will see the Aflaton materials, the Aflaton curriculum, all the materials that you will receive from the Aflaton, they are designed to be in order with the age of the children, and we have this inclusiveness. So every material is created to be friendly for all the children, not only for children with a special need or other children. So all the children are same way treated in the material. So, but when you will have the lesson, when you will receive the lesson, after this exercise with Lilith, we will continue and we will have in practice some lessons, and you will see that for every lesson you have suggested method to be used. And even if you have these methods, three poem and etc. For every method, they are adjusted for that specific age group, so to be more appropriate. But we understand that you will face with the difficulties because even, for example, if you see the PISA result, even the children with 15 years old all over the world are not in the same level of development and understanding. So we have difficulties, we were faced with that, but in general, for every lesson, for every method used, there are a suggestion which method and in which level to use that method.
Thank you.
Thank you, sorry for this.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, let's go to the next question. So we somehow already touched upon this topic. For which topics would it work better? If you have anything to add on this, for example, if you have a specific topic in mind that you think this method can be appropriate for that, you can share it. Okay, we had a couple of comments, for example, in which stage this method is better to use. And as I mentioned in the beginning, this is good for reflection, as a reflection method. And for such topics where you want to, for example, I would consider this topic with such this method with such topic which can seem a bit boring, and to make it more juicy, maybe. For example, if you are doing such introduction to budget or planning, or which can seem very structural, I would say we can break that ice through this method and to make it more fun. So wherever we feel that the topic can be demanding and we lack fun, we can use these creative methods in order to make it more playful for kids. Okay, this was three poem method. Do you have any questions or any final remarks about these two methods that we did, the memory cards and three poem? Do you find them useful? Are you planning on using them in your work?
Definitely.
Thanks for your reactions. Do you want to have a break? I can sense.
No, we don't want.
Okay, let's have, Luan, can we have 15 or 10?
Yes, we can have a 15-minute break.
Let's have a 15 minutes break and come back at 10:35.
For this next activity, we will see the Aflaton books and we will see the Aflaton session. So now finally we will have the chance to see what we have learned so far and to present that in a way that we think that is appropriate. You will this part of the day now, the last part is about the Aflaton session plans. So you will receive a book and we will work in the small groups. We will have 3 groups, and then we will have like a half an hour for each group to plan a specific presentation. So the idea is to have these books and together within the group to discuss how you're going to present, how you're going to deliver this lesson to your children, peers, and etc. What is the whole thing, the idea? Whenever you will deliver some Aflaton session, it needs to be done planned previously, because you have a lot of materials, you have a different children, you know you are the expert in the field because you know with who you are dealing with and what kind of children, what age are the children. So whenever you want to do something, it is very important to do the preparation. And as you will see in the Aflaton books, all the planning sessions are well planned, well organized, but some plans, for example, last more than an hour, some last like a half an hour. So you have all the elements and you will decide within the group now for this exercise, how you will deliver this lesson. I will share the screen just to make sure that everyone is seeing this. So the idea now is to prepare a teach. You are going to work in the small groups in the breakout rooms. You will get Aflaton session plans, and then you will come back after approximately 30 minutes together and you will present. Within the group, you will have to choose one leader or facilitator who will facilitate the process, and then you together with him will work in the presentation. So you will need to have like a maximum 10-minute presentation after you came back, but you will have 30 minutes to prepare that presentation. That is idea. I will give you instruction what is the key element to be careful for. So you need to be careful on this. You need to indicate how you will deliver this lesson, what steps you will take to ensure that there is an appropriate ratio of teacher talking time and student talking time, how you will ensure active participation of as many children as possible, if the lesson in this correct form, the lesson that you will receive to analyze involve an active learning methods, you will need to if you have opportunity to analyze that, to suggest ways in which could be used at least one another active learning method. For example, if the lessons already involve any active learning method, you will see if there is a potential to add another one from those that we have seen so far. So you have now informed and you have a knowledge and skills to deal with the different active learning methods. And if you see the potential in this particular lesson to add something new, you will just suggest that. You will also need to indicate in your presentation prior preparation that you will need to undertake in order of the classroom to be ready with all the materials needed. You will also have to indicate some possible challenges and how will you propose to deal with those challenges. So because you know the better way your classes, you know your people, you know your children, so you will propose how to face with these challenges. If you have any suggestion about follow-up activity, you also make you may ask children to do after the session. And yeah, at the end of when you will present from the others, you will be taking some questions about clarification of if anything is not clear for that. Those like guidelines that I shared with you will be also put it in chat, so you will have the chance all the time to see what you have to do. So please rely to these guidelines. And before you do that, you will have to go to in the partner platform, and in the platform, I will show you again the screen, you will have the materials. But for now, correctly, you will have this. I just opened one from the books. There are two books in the chat. Sorry, in the platform. So this is the one. So this is only an example. What do you will find in the Aflatun book? Aflatun book number 1 and book number 3 are there. They are also translated the version in the Russian language. So you can find whatever you want from those two. In general, for every session, every Aflatun session has a plan, and this is a plan, and you will have all the information needed prior. So, for example, what is the idea of this activity? What time do you need for this activity? How much materials you will need for this activity? And you will see that you will have a lot of activities for your work, for your concrete theme and subject, and then you within the group you will decide what and how you will deliver this lesson. So the idea is first to download the book from the platform, then to read your session, and then to decide how you will deliver this session. What will be the highlights of your session? Again, if you go to the platform, I will share where you can find the books. There are 2 books. Book number 1 and book number 3 are uploaded in the platform. So day 4 is now visible. You will go to this part, preparing to teach, and if you open this, if you scroll down, you will have the books. They are very at the end. So book number 1 and book number 3. Here you have the instructions. So what you will need to pay attention to indicate how you will deliver the session. Is there an appropriate teacher talking time and student talking time? What you need to do as a preparation? Do we have active learning methods involved? If yes, can you improve and to suggest another one? If not, which one do you want? If there is a chance to add this method, and which one of those methods? What are the challenges? And to suggest at the end of the day, what will you suggest as a follow-up activity for the children in order to get more engagement from them? Is this part clear so far? Every group has only one unit to observe, and there is very specific ones. For example, the first group will go to the unit 5, and the lesson is Aflatun Help Us Save. That is in the page 46, book number 1. The second group will be in the unit 6, Being a Good Consumer. This is the lesson, and pages 62, book number 3. And you will see the third book is about the third group. It's group number 3 has the book 1, unit 3, Making Our School a Better Place. That is page number 26. Again, this groups that I have already created has the name of the lesson. So whenever you are not sure, if you are not sure in which group you are or which lesson, just see the name of your group. We will assign you manually because of the Russian speaking people. So Lilith, maybe you will just help me to have, so the first group will be, the third group will be Russian speaking group. And whoever wants to join that group, you can be in that group, in the Russian speaking group, and other 2 groups will be English speaking group.
Yes, so I created the rooms already.
Okay, then you can.
So the
if
first,
you have another arrangement, please tell us.
Tell me, how do you want to make this? Because we have the first room for Russian speaking participants.
Then let it stay. Let it be like that. Okay. So please join in the group, open the book, open your correct session, and see how you will deliver. Choose one person who will present at the end. You will have only 10 minutes to do the presentation. And other members of the group will have the right to ask you a question for clarification or any suggestion. And me and Lilith will be joining you in the group as well.
And we give 30 minutes for this?
30 minutes, yeah.
Okay.
So welcome back. I know that it's a challenge to have a lesson, to prepare a lesson in the group, in the online, in like half an hour. But keep in mind that this is only an exercise, and we are trying to to get impression of how Aflaton session are, what are the materials that we have to deal with, and what are the challenges that we have to deal with as well. So since this is exercise, we are not judging you, we are not giving the grades and etc. We are just gonna have a discussion about that, how it was, what was your impression in general. And for that, we was discussing now with Lily to give you like a 5-minute time for presentation, and then from the group you will receive 1 or 2 questions. And please, other members of the group or even from general audience, just keep in mind, if you have something to ask, write the question, and after they finish with the presentation, you can ask the question for clarification, anything you want regarding to the concrete material. So we had 3 groups, and I was part of the group number 3, and they were doing well, and I think that they have decided who will be presenting. So I will ask someone from the group number 3 to present their lesson, how they will deliver, and they later to be answering the question. Jada, you will, I think, yeah?
That would be me, yes.
Okay, so please, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much. So with the support of all the members of our team, we designed a lesson on making our school a better place, and the theme was bullying. So we would start by brainstorming to ask the questions, and that would require a preparation before the class, because the questions should be trigger the critical thinking, like when we say a safe school, what is the definition for you, and what is the safe school for you? How can we make our school safe? So we can learn their previous information and their thoughts on it, and see if bullying is a part of their answers. And after brainstorming, just to give them the true explanations, we would use expert groups with little stories, maybe in different groups. They would work and then tell each other the true explanation of bullying. And then we would use poetry to see where and how they define or divide into the groups as thoughts on bullying. And after poetry, we would use the memory card game. So that would be 4 different active learning methods. We would use memory card game with bullying cards. They can be written or visual according to the age of the children. And all of the active learning methods would include as challenge about the definition of bullying, because in some for some children, according to their countries, their culture, maybe only hitting is bullying, but for some countries, prejudice is also included. There are different kinds of bullying. So that's the challenge, to ensure that all kinds of bullying are spoken in the classroom. And as follow-up activity, we would suggest them to write a poem based on everything we did in the classroom. They can use memory cards or the poetry, so they can go home and with their parents and siblings, they can write a poem and come back to the class with all the information about bullying, hopefully. That was our plan.
Thank you, Jada. It was very nice to hear you. You have a very detailed plan. I write something like, I like a lot that you are having trying to have all the perspectives for one theme. For example, bullying is an issue, and sometimes we have only one perspective for us, something depending on our culture, as you said, or where we live places, but I like it very much. The good thing is you are not, even in the materials that you find in Aflaton, we are not asking the definition, what is the bullying, but you are asking the question to the children and trying to understand what in their understanding is bullying. So never we are not asking a definition about the issue in general, and that is very good approach. And the other thing that I like it a lot, it was at the beginning you are asking questions, and most of the questions were open questions. So to promote this critical thinking and to get their opinion. If we ask only closed question, we will get an answer like yes or no from the children. But you are asking them, what do you think about that? What is bullying? Have you heard for bullying? And etc. So that is very, very nice. I have only one question from me, and then I will open the floor for the participant. So did you find the plan of the Aflaton session useful? That is suggested in the book, so that is given. Do you find it useful? And what was the challenges with what you are facing when you will probably deliver this lesson? For example, can you relate to the real life if you are delivering this lesson? This is a question for all the members of the group number 3. It's not necessary only Jada to answer, please.
I think while we were working on the design, we of course get very helpful ideas from the book. That's why I would say useful, but we didn't have enough time to maybe check all the potential challenges. But for this activity, I found it very useful. But if any other of my team members have something to say.
Yeah, I support Jada's opinion. It was really helpful. Of course, it takes time and it needs more time. If we had more time, we would have gone in detail to other things, but it was really helpful. And in terms of implementing it or relating it to our realities, I think it's related to all types of realities because you can adjust it. Also, when we talk about definitions, it can be adjusted to how they understand it in their own country, but without forgetting what's at the core of it, which is the power term.
Great. So now we have a time for another person from the, Silva, you want to share something? Part of the group number 3, yes? Yes.
Yes, number 3. For me, like, it's a safe place. For me, if I would be preparing the class for, with the children, I would always have some like brainstorming on more questions. It's safe school is one thing. The child may feel safe in the school, but not safe in the class. So to have the definitions of the environment, like school, class, how do you call like school cafeteria? So it's the spatial. So I would spend time into this too. So then it makes maybe more time for definitions before starting doing activities. But I would need to make my own as a teacher judgment on what the feedback I am getting from my class. So it shows how we have to be well-oriented in the topic. So this is the challenge for right now for me.
Silva, you have a very good point, because in general, all Aflaton materials have this in mind. Because we are not dealing with very simple subjects, for example. Sometimes we are having something more controversial maybe, or maybe can be understand from people or from the children controversial. But whenever you want to deliver something, you need first to create the safe space and children to feel safe, and in order to express their opinion freely. And this is a very good view from your perspective. Thank you very much for that. Do we have another person from the group, or we have time now for one question from the others? Does other groups have a question for these groups? For this group, or everything is clear? Any suggestion? Any
What did you find most challenging when you were doing this?
Sorry, once again?
I was curious about what the group found most challenging when they were trying to decide.
I would say Silva's cases, because she pointed a very important part of bullying. You know, Rosetta said it's Rosetta, can you make the definition again?
Well, we describe different things, like how we see it in different countries. But what is really important for all kids and adults to understand is that at the core of it is the power issue. So it's a kid that seems more powerful, it's bigger or older, that intimidates another kid that's less powerful, it's younger and more vulnerable. So it's always this at the heart of it. Whatever they do, even if they're teasing or calling names, it's based on that. So and that is very important to understand.
Exactly, because sometimes children only think that only hitting is bullying. But Silva says, you know, the names of the children are also important, because it may be a thing to bully. It may be a reason to bully another child, just the name of her or him. So that's why the challenging part is how different can it be when it comes to the definition of bullying. I would say that we should ensure to talk everything about bullying, every different kind of bullying.
Lilia, do you have something to add, or we can continue with the next group?
Can I just one very small comment? It's about this lesson. It's not. I think it's not necessary to answer to that right now. But I was wondering what would be our approach if we know that in the group that we are implementing this lesson, we already identified casing of bullying, and we know that there are people who experience this, and we know that there are people who do this to others. So I guess this might make it more challenging to talk about these issues, and also in a way that people don't feel put in this on the spot, but also they can relate to that and they can reflect about their own experiences. So I would just leave this here as a general comment.
The question, yeah, not the comment. Yeah, always good preparation is key for everything. Let's continue then with the group number 2, and then the last one will be group number 1, the Russian speaking, because we will have a translation and Nilüfer will need to be prepared. So she's doing excellent job again to stay in front of all of you. Thank you again, Nilüfer. You are doing, without you, our work would be impossible. So thanks a lot. Okay, do we have a volunteer or a presenter from the second group to present?
Yes, I think I'll share. Yes. So we had the third book, Unit 6, Being a Good Customer, was our topic. We discussed what we could do, what we can do about the activities and the whole program. We read the whole activity and sessions here. So first of all, we talk about the total hour. I think it is 3 hours for the whole unit. So we thought it's a very tight schedule for the whole entire unit. So we said maybe we can change some of the activities already exist here, or we can split it if I'm correct. And at the beginning of the this unit session, we said we would add a brainstorming session. There is no brainstorming session. So at the start, we can put this. And also for the KWL learning methods, we discuss, we can share with the students at this start and learn what they already know, what they want to learn, and at the beginning, and we can continue our following activities to their feedbacks. It can be challenging. We also said if we ask and have the answers right that moment, maybe it can be challenging for the trainer to organize the next activities, but it would be good to learn what the target group wants. And for there was one activity, is activity 2 of the fish market, and they have to go to fish market. It's we discussed that it is a challenge or maybe a barrier, so maybe they won't be able to go to fish market, and maybe the organizing can be a problem. So we can think additional activity for that part. And we had activity 4, banks and their services. There were some definitions, for example, bank cards and all, let's say. We had an idea to, as an activity here, the memory cards that we did today. But in a different way, we would give the organizing the game itself to the children. So they can do this memory cards game themselves. They can write the definitions, they can do the design the game. And this was another activity we taught. What else? We had activity 5. And this activity, I'm checking right now, design your own banknote. We said for the time purposes, it can be a homework for them. This was another point. I think all of these create our new Unit 6, in my opinion. If I miss something, my team members also can add their notes as well. This is how we designed the
Thank
unit.
you, Melissa. Thank you. Okay, it was very nice to hear first that you have already discussed about all the activities. So as a group, you have seen first all the activity, and then you anticipated the time and you decided to do some change in the activities. And you also added some active learning methods as a brainstorming. You were very familiar and aware that something you cannot do, for example, going to the fish market will be maybe not appropriate for your case, and you have anticipated that, and you have suggested the different method or different thing to do, so different activity to switch this activity. And so this is very nice when you are doing the preparation, because whenever you anticipate the possible challenges, you can address them, and you were very aware about your challenges that you have for this activity. In fact, this activity is very interesting because usually demands something additional, to go to the fish market, or in different books to go to the bank or to go somewhere. And those activities may be very challenging. So sometimes you will suggest like to switch this activity with something else. But my question will be how you will try to do the same level of activity. For example, if there is no fish market, what you will suggest to do, to go to another market, or to, I don't know, to cancel this activity and to add something else? What, in general, what do you do?
Yeah, the answer could be like we haven't had enough time to discuss, so we thought not creating one activity. That's why we discuss all of the activities. But for this kind of challenges, we can say like instead of going there physically, of course, physically going somewhere is also making fun for children and all. But after the pandemic, for example, you can visit everywhere with different programs, like most of the museums and all, let's say. So we can create a cool place like that. Also, metaverse can be, like a very digital, and you can create metaverse places and all. It can be another, in my opinion, just comes to my mind, something to take their interests because it's very popular. Or you can let's do the metaverse. You can create a bazaar or fish market there. I don't know, in Turkey it's very hard to take children to go somewhere, like need permissions from each parent, school, the governments and all. But it can change like that. We haven't discussed in the team.
But you are very creative, so that is the key. So one of the things also Aflaton elements is to think out of the box. So sometimes you need to be creative, and this. So yes, in many states there are some regulation and limitation taking children out of school, especially when you are working with the small children. But this is one of the options. So thank you for that, Melissa. Do we have someone from the group to add something to this? Or someone for other groups to ask a question, clarification to Melissa and her group?
I guess the other option was, and that's suggested, is also bringing somebody in to talk to the kids. So if you can't take them to a bank, maybe you can bring somebody to talk to them. So that's another option. But it really requires a lot of planning. Obviously, that's required for every session, but you need to have that organized ahead of time, because yeah.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Blanca.
And we have one comment by Jamila in chat. She says, give the concept of a consumer basket, play the role-playing game with a shop or a market. Children can be buyers, salesmen, and cashiers. Also introduce children to save money and spend on essentials.
You will have plenty of activities in Aflaton books. You will have a lot of them, and you can choose as well. Also, we as Aflaton, when I presented at the first day, we have also a lot of supplements, for example, for, I don't know, child rights or something more specific, like environment, for example, then you will have something to do. And then you can also search there to get additional ideas. Okay. Do we have a question?
Can I ask a question about KLW chart? What do you think is the best way to use it during the lesson? Because it requires to change the plan very quickly, or just let it be a self-assignment for the participants, or do we use it for the next lesson, since we got the information from their previous knowledge and interests? So which one is the best way, do you think?
Usually we use this method when at the beginning. So when we are starting with something new to learn, so we are asking, what do you know for this, and what do you want to know, in fact, what do you know for this subject? And then at the end, when you are finishing all the activities, you will ask the children what we have learned. At that end, it's not necessary to be at the end of the classes, can be at the end of one process. For example, we started with the cards, and we started like 4 days ago, and we will finish tomorrow. We will ask you what you have learned for Aflaton, for example. So this is like the idea is to start with to see what are the interests of the children, what they want to know about, and what is the practical situation, what they are already know. But not every material in Aflaton is about knowing something. Sometimes it's about the skills. So indirectly, when you are working with something, you are gaining some skills or attitudes. Okay, so I answered the question. Okay, let's continue with
Can I add very short comment to Jada's question? Because if I got it correctly, you said if we do KWL chart, we also are required to quickly review our planned lesson. I would say you don't have to. Every time you use KWL chart, you might feel challenged because of this want to learn section, but the method is doesn't require you to redesign the plan within that short period of time. That section is more meant to develop to activate the thinking process, and you don't have to address all the points during that session, but you can have it's useful. You can have it in mind for further lessons. Yeah.
Still clear. Thank you so much.
Now we will continue with the last group, not last but not the least, how I say it. So do we have a volunteer, and that volunteer shouldn't be Nulipar, but someone from the group?
I think I'm present, but Medera is jointly in process. Тогда я буду на русском, вы уже переводить, если можно. Спасибо. Значит, у нас была тема сбережения. В первую очередь мы должны учесть, что заходим и в класс, и общаемся, начинаем общение с детьми. И что обычно, в первую очередь, на что должен обратить внимание учитель, тренер. В первую очередь, мы, естественно, что это приветствие всего класса.
Their topic was about savings, and first of all, they think that they need to come into the class and just start with talking to children, just asking how they're feeling and all of that. And it's important for the trainer as well as the teacher to introduce the topic correctly. And можете продолжить?
Чтобы было понятно, не привести к тому, что наша тема сбережения, мы начнем говорить об этом, мы должны подготовить детей, оценить общую атмосферу, первичную атмосферу класса, то есть детей, их эмоциональное состояние, как в концепции Афлатон. В первую очередь пообщаться, уделить 5-минутное внимание на каждого ребенка. Это может быть «Здравствуйте, дети, как вы себя чувствуете?» Индивидуально можно быстренько сделать такой опрос, как вы сегодня, с каким настроением, как пришли в школу, какое у вас чувство, что вы думаете о сегодняшнем дне. Вот такой 5-минутный такой energizing сделать.
So she says that since the savings topic is quite complicated for the kids, it's important to sort of prepare the ground for them beforehand, and that could be done with a 5-minute energizer, just to ask the children how they're feeling and creating this atmosphere of trust and feeling comfortable about talking the further topic. Therefore, she thinks that it's important to spend at least 5 minutes and give an attention to each student if possible, and ask how are their feelings, how are their emotional states at the moment, and yeah.
Если учесть, что это как бы ознакомление с новой темой, здесь не спрашивая о домашнем задании, мы должны сразу перейти к объяснению, разъяснению тем. Но для этого, как и принято во всех интерактивных таких уроках, в первую очередь мы должны определить для учащихся правила участия и правила поведения именно в этом новом задании и в занятиях наших.
So it's important
Установить правила.
So then it's important to let the students know the set of rules that they need to know before embarking onto the actual exercises, and rules of participation, the set of rules, and then the set of rules for their behavior, of how they're supposed to respect each other, for instance.
Я считаю, что каждый тренер, также педагог должен начать с короткой информации о том, о чем урок и почему выбрана эта тема, коротко, не раскрывая всех деталей.
And as a teacher, it's important to introduce the students to the topic on what it is about and just give a quick overview of what they're going to be talking about today.
Как было отмечено уже в книге Афлатун, используя одно из занятий, я, например, ну, не я, а вот мы группой как бы посчитали, что самое такое, что учитель может применить в классе, это может быть и чтобы это было заинтересовано, и чтобы во всем этом участвовали все дети, и интерактивность всегда надо учитывать. Мы готовим изначально флипчарт, маркеры, все, что нам нужны, эти принадлежности. И мы применили, например, табличку, которая это книжка для создания накоплений.
So since the topic is the savings, the group decided that the class needs to be very interactive, and beforehand the preparation includes preparation of flip charts, of markers, of all the props and everything that you need, all the items that you need to introduce the students to the topic. And they would use the table that is given in the book of Aflatun, the checking book, I think it's called.
Таблица накоплений, листов.
Yeah, the savings chart.
Yeah, tableau. Да, и исходя из этого мы объясняем, как мы будем вести это занятие, что для этого нам нужно, и учитывая, что табличка состоит из 3 частей, мы можем поделить детей на 3 части. В этом делении мы тоже можем подойти к этому интерактивно, можно по фруктам разделить или по счету, там 1, 2, 3, и двойки в одну сторону, тройки в другую и единички в отдельную сторону. И отделить им вот это отдельную, каждый дать тему этой таблички и дать им задание.
And so you could even divide the groups in an interactive way. So since the table is consistent of 3 parts, you could, for instance, call 3 numbers, ask each student to call out a number from 1 to 3, and then each student who said 1 goes to the first group, each student who said 2 goes to the second group, and so on. And then give them a theme or a topic, and then ask them to explore.
Второй вариант, что можно использовать, там были занятия, как идти в банк, открывать счета и так далее, как собирать разными способами. Можно еще дать детям задание, например, по ручному, подготовке ручного как бы изделия, да, как бы специальные копилки. Они могут совместно, каждый подумать о вот таком, как это даже сказать, приготовлении этой копилки и какими способами они дома или же сами отдельно в своей комнате или где-то, вот как они собирают сбережения и как их сохраняют.
So since the Aflatun book also gives the activities like go to the bank, opening an account, Kamala recommends a DIY method also to interact with children. You could show them how to create your own piggy bank, for example, how to make it your own, and then show them of the ways on how they can save money on daily basis.
Также может быть один из интерактивных и более интересных, мне кажется, для детей. Это может быть, например, я эту идею в группе рассказала, и мы в Азербайджане это применяли сами. Учитель или школа, если речь идет об образовательном учреждении, они могут обратиться в какой-то банк, пригласить оттуда именно финансиста или экономиста, ну, по этой части, по этой сфере, эксперта или сотрудника, которого они считают нужным, и сделать такой, провести коротенькую презентацию на уровне по возрасту именно этих детей, и им наглядно с презентацией объяснить и показать, зачем нужны сбережения и как можно, какими способами у нас могут дети собирать деньги. Это могут быть счета, это может быть родительский счет, или же, подходя в банк, получить какую-то информацию. То есть о всех вот этих деталях можно таким образом тоже заинтересовать детей, когда эксперт или работник этой сферы рассказывает и дает информацию детальную.
Also, the other interesting activity that they are recommending is something that also they actively use in Azerbaijan. So asking the teachers or the school administration to ask a local bank to provide a representative from the bank who is like a financial expert who could come and present, give a short presentation, of course, on the level of children so that they can understand what the person is talking about, and to show them and present them the ways of how they can save, and perhaps they can go to the bank and get some necessary information, or they can ask their parents to help them out with that as well.
И вот уже подведя итоги, когда уже заканчивалась именно групповая работа такая, они могут выбирать лидера, который будет презентовать каждой группы работу. И подводя итоги, можно сделать такой опрос с ответом, что мы поняли из этого урока и какие выводы мы сделали.
And as a summary in the classroom, so for instance, if you divided the students into groups, you need to choose a leader in the group who will be presenting what they have learned so far in this lesson, and create a sort of a Q&A session so that everyone gets a chance to ask and clarify whether there are moments that they didn't get, or yeah.
И как бы результируя заключительной части, мы можем отметить то, что вот дети, у нас есть сбережения, мы знаем или уже накопили определенную сумму, а что мы можем дальше сделать? И можно эту тему привести именно к социальному финансовому какому-то проекту, который тоже поможет детям и с помощью вот этих занятий интерактивных составить там бюджет, подумать идею, на что это можно потратить и какое финансовое предприятие или проект они могут реализовать таким образом.
And as a conclusion for that class, you could sort of get a smooth transition to social enterprise, and teach them or tell them the overview of what budgeting is and what could be the ideas so that they could implement and realize, and then perhaps create in their school or their community.
Thank you, Kamala.
У меня коротко, может, maybe Medea say something. Thank you.
Ну, I think вы все подробно рассказали. Спасибо вам большое.
That would be it from the group number 1.
Thank you. You have explained it in very detailed explanation you provided us. So I just wrote something that from my perspective, is like worth to mention. So from the beginning, you will introduce the topic. So you are focusing in the beginning all the children to have the same level of, for example, of understanding for the issue. You will do a lot of energizer. You will create the atmosphere of trust. You will dedicate appropriate time to each student that is like new for this event now, because you are focused to have the opinions from each student. And to set the rules, to know how you will deliver the lesson, what they have to do, students, so in advance to have the rules. And for this, for every activity, in fact, that is very important, because when you are knowing the rules, you are having the guidelines, then you can expect from the others to respect those and to continue to deliver. You also mentioned that you will do the research about what the materials you will need to deliver the lesson, and especially this part in the end, you mentioned the guest speaker, for example, from the bank or financial expert, and to be to do the link between the classes that children are learning and the real world. So to share the experiences. You used the word sometimes to show and sometimes to explore. So yeah, sometimes we can show the children something, but we are also motivating the children to explore whenever it is appropriate, to explore what we can do, for example, for a specific topic. Thank you for that. I don't have a question. You have explained everything in detail, but if someone from the group has something to add or to ask, can you please share with us?
If I can just add one very quick comment, what I liked a lot about this lesson plan presented by Kamala, this is a really good example how we can incorporate core activities within the Aflatun lessons. For example, having a guest speaker, and I saw that Jada also commented that they are planning a bank visit next week. So you can see in which topic you can have any of Aflatun core activities to be incorporated and make your lessons more like richer. Yeah.
We will continue tomorrow. We will design our own enterprise, and some of elements that Kamala mentioned now today in this presentation will be probably used tomorrow. How we can include someone from the expert, for example, from the bank to help to create our enterprise. And yeah, that is all for today in terms of this workshop. We will see you tomorrow at 9 again. Before that, don't forget to do the homework. You have different active learning methods as well to see and to explore in the platform. So you just have to read them and to see what you find useful, or you can use those in your everyday work. Today we started with a different method. We started with the memory card, with a poem, how it's called, the tree poem. And then we started to see, and we were getting more familiar with the Aflatun session in general. So whenever you will deliver the material, the workshop, for example, for the Aflatun curriculum, you will have the materials and you will have always everything in advance. But the key is to be very prepared and to prepare in the proper way. And you have done this today. You have do this exercise. But whenever you will need to deliver the lesson, you will have the materials and you will have the guidelines how and what to use from the materials. So from me, thank you for now for everything, and we will see tomorrow. If you have any additional question for all the day today, you can ask. If not, maybe Lilith or Saida have something to add, so please feel free.
I have a question. Possible?
Yeah, please.
Yes. In the activities, should the teacher let the children come to their own calculation or guide them, especially when we use brainstorming or KW or any other method? That is, if the children reach their desired result, that is enough, or the teacher or facilitator should give additional explanation is better. I don't understand this part.
So brainstorming is not to be used only to hear the ideas of the children, what do they know or what they want to know, for example. Every lesson has an objective, and we need to achieve that objective. But we are using brainstorming as a method how to achieve that objective that we have. For example, if we want to tell the children to introduce with the banks, and we will have something prepared for the banks, and we will start with the brainstorming. Brainstorming will give only idea for that, what children understand and know about the banks. And then we will continue with other method, but the general idea is to through those methods to come to our objective. And not every time children are prepared. For example, what do they want to know from the banks, because they haven't heard maybe the word bank before, and now they don't even know what they need to know for the banks. But in general, we have, like example, loans, we have interest, we have those elements we have in our subject, and those are the things that we need to achieve at the end of the day. And we are using those methods as a way to achieve those methods. So brainstorming is not a task for itself. It's like a mean to get to the objective that we have, and all other methods. And sometimes some methods are more appropriate for something and others for something else. So when we are doing this like social part from the afternoon, we are using, for example, maybe brainstorming. But when we are doing something specific, maybe for interest, for example, in our savings, we can use charts, and we can see what do they know, what they want to know, and what we have learned. Because this, from what we want to know and what we know, there is a huge gap till the part what we have learned. And this gap, you as a teacher will fulfill with information, with experience, by bringing, for example, guest speaker, etc. So this is the idea. Brainstorming or any method is not like a mean for itself. So it's only helping us to get to the point.
Thank you. I see.
Anyone else? Okay, then, thank you, and see you tomorrow. Don't forget the homework, and see you tomorrow at 9 for the last day, the most interesting day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.